A comparative analysis of language use within Gordon Ramsay recipes, Group 9, Ariane Moore
and Amelia Montoni. Rationale for text choices. The register is the level of formality of the text. It is the notion that the speaker has a choice of language. Gordon Ramsay is the writer and speaker of all the texts. Ramsay is a famous TV chef well known to westernised countries, therefore granting ethos. He is notorious for his strong opinions alongside his expertise in the culinary world. The following 3 texts were chosen due to the fact that they all share the same genre of recipes, however their register differs as well as the audiences. All texts are modern day. They could be aimed at a wider demographic due to the increase of people across all ethnicities, ages, genders, etc., showing interest in the culinary field.
Text A is a written recipe created by Gordon Ramsay. It could be argued that a large proportion of the audience will be from a UK demographic due to Ramsay's background. Despite Ramsay being associated with Michelin-star restaurants and elaborate dishes, he uses common household ingredients for this recipe, possibly trying to avoid alienating any readers who hope to use this recipe. Leading on from this, Text A is an online recipe uploaded to Gordon Ramsay's official website, where a range of information can be found surrounding different aspects in his career. As previously mentioned, the audience who utilise this recipe will most likely be searching for a roast beef recipe specifically or looking through the recipes available on his website. As this text is written, this means it follows many of the features within this format, which is explored later in the presentation. Context of culture can be seen in everyday terms as the background knowledge we have on our own culture and social norms. This is relevant to text A as many readers would have chosen this recipe as a result of Ramsay's name holding a lot of credibility. Context of situation is the physical context and what the speaker knows about the situation in front of them at that moment in time. In regards to text A, the reader would know that the contents of the recipe only focus on giving the most accurate instructions, and readers are expected to have some basic cooking knowledge to be able to follow the recipe correctly. Due to the text being in a written format, there are mostly formal elements throughout. This ensures Ramsay gives the most concise information in order to make the recipe easy to follow. Consequently, the unfiltered conversation style Ramsay is notorious for is withdrawn, meaning the audience would not instinctively know who the author was. Referring to the spectrum of mode, there are clear elements of both written and spoken features despite being a solely written text. Leading from this, as text A is planned and transactional, this allows clear instructions to be given. In addition to these features, there are also elements of informality from the use of personal pronouns and colloquial terms. Due to text A being the only text explored which is written and having no visual aid, it may be beneficial for the audience to use the photo to refer to, so it's clearer what the end product of the recipe should look like. Also, the icons located at the beginning of the text include platforms such as Facebook. This prompts the audience to share the recipe for others to view, giving Ramsay free advertising and benefits himself in terms of his reputation and financially. The first language choice which maintains the style of the text is the semantic field of cuisine. Using abbreviations such as TBSP hints that there is a slight expectation for the audience to have some prior knowledge of cooking. This is further represented when terms such as marinade and medium rare are also used, as some audiences may not know what marinating or cooking to medium rare is. However, it could be argued that Ramsay uses parenthesis in order to simplify parts of the instructions. An example of this would be in the instructions specifying 1 head of garlic, about 12 cloves. This eliminates the possibility of there being any confusion and includes a wider audience from beginners to experienced chefs. Throughout the text, there are elements of colloquial language, including phrases such as "until very hot." Due to the instructions being unspecific, it leaves the reader to draw their own conclusions of what temperature very hot is, and therefore creating a more relaxed tone for the reader to have slight freedom in the cooking. Leading on from this, exclamatory sentence inserts features of Gordon's own opinions, which are automatically trusted by audiences. It's also interesting to note that the recipe includes features of English dialects by using terms as "on the hob," which American audiences would not recognise. Whilst audiences are being discussed, it's also relevant to mention the continuous use of personal pronouns throughout the text. Firstly, the use of a second person personal pronoun creates a synthetic personalisation between Ramsay and each individual reader. In addition to this, the plural personal pronoun also builds on the synthetic personalisation and limits any sense of a power imbalance between Ramsay and the audience.
Text B is a spoken demonstration recipe about a steak sandwich. It takes a commonly used ingredient and turns it into a dish a wide number of people would not typically create. In addition to this, a sandwich is commonly made with everyday food items to the point where there is a coined term for them, sandwich filler. Steak is not your everyday typical sandwich filler. Despite this, due to the simplicity of the dish, a sandwich, people generally own the majority of the ingredients included. Gordon Ramsay, who isn't present with anyone else in the room, talks to the camera as though it is a person. It was published on YouTube, which is a popular platform where the video can be found in various ways. There is an audience of potentially millions. As a result of this, there is a wide demographic, but can be limited to those who seek that particular recipe and those who have a shared interest in Gordon. He uses synthetic personalisation to build a relationship with the imaginary audience. The audience are not present during filming, so it is the written mode aspect planned and delayed. However, his form of communication is spoken due to the informal tone and forms a close relationship with the audience. Context of culture. This text requires knowledge of the semantic field of cuisine. Context of situation. Ramsay is in a homely kitchen and has a range of ingredients in front of him along with a camera person. He therefore understands that he is there to not only entertain an audience who are not physically there in person, but to cook food simultaneously. Register. The audience of this video are most likely to be those who have searched for this recipe and or searched for Ramsay's videos for entertainment reasons. As a result of this, the audience shares similar interests. Although the audience may be middle class if they are expected to make a sandwich with a Rolls-Royce of beef due to the expensive cut of beef for a sandwich, this could lead to the alienation of people who cannot afford to use this cut. Due to the video being posted on such a large social platform, there is a potential for millions of viewers. This can be viewed by the audience at any time and any place considering they have internet access. The mode of communication of text B is ultimately spoken, however this fluctuates due to his style, tone of speech and the context. He is informal and close to the audience while his tone remains conversational and his intonation changes to enhance the spoken mode. However, there are elements which are under the written mode spectrum, such as having the video planned out beforehand, as well as the delay in time from filming the video to the audience watching it possibly years after it was filmed and published. As a result, text B involves aspects from both the spoken and written sides of the mode spectrum. Synthetic personalisation is the method of a person connected with a large demographic as if they are individuals with the use of a particular language. Due to the nature of the spoken mode, Ramsay naturally creates a conversational tone and introduces the use of first-person singular and plural pronouns, as well as second-person singular pronouns, creating a sense of relationship between the speaker and the audience. Synthetic personalisation creates a friendly and appealing tone and keeps the audience feeling involved. This relationship is crucial for Ramsay if he wants to keep his audience enticed. In addition to this, he adopts the use of the possessive determiner my to keep himself in the focus because he is the pinnacle of the clip. Ramsay uses mostly imperative sentences which coincides with the register of the text. Some are hidden, which maintains a relationship with the audience because it implies he isn't too strict. The standard use of imperative sentence functions is a student-teacher type of tone. However, the use of pronouns in synthetic personalisation limits this as it's more informal. Ramsay uses phrases such as I'm gonna instead of using strict standard direct imperatives. Imperatives are used but not excessively to upkeep the chatty friendly tone. As well as this, declarative sentence functions are utilised to ensure the tone is relaxed, creating more of a mentoring tone rather than the typical student-teacher type of tone. He upkeeps his reputation by providing opinions through superlative adjectives and asserts his expertise through directing the audience on how to correctly do something, such as slicing onions. Despite this, line 15's adverb of manner shows it isn't always perfect, possibly to ease the pressure off the audience. Ramsay uses dynamic verbs relating to the cuisine world, such as baste and sear, to reassert his level of expertise in this particular field. The use of these terms convey that he is holding some expectation over his audience that they too have some level of expertise in order to understand. However, due to the register of this text, he physically completes the action so that the physical acts can be easily replicated.
Text C is a clip taken from a Junior MasterChef episode and posted to YouTube. The clip's focus is Gordon Ramsay demonstrating to children how to cook the perfect chicken breast. It's clear that the language choices have been altered to fit the immediate audience who are children. As this clip would have been originally aired on TV and then re-uploaded to YouTube, it can be assumed that a large proportion of viewers would be viewing the show for entertainment purposes and therefore not actually replicating the demonstration. However, as the clip is easily accessible on YouTube, audiences who do not necessarily watch MasterChef may refer to this text for guidance on how to cook chicken breasts. The text is in a spoken format, meaning there are clear elements of interaction or spontaneity. It is clear to say that Ramsay alters his language choices to be more filtered and family-friendly while speaking to children. As previously defined in text A, the context of culture within this text links the main majority of the audience, understanding that the style of conversation has been purposefully simplified to suit a child's understanding. Furthermore, the context of situation is the knowledge that MasterChef Junior is a predominantly made for entertainment purposes. Therefore, whilst the demonstration needs to be clear for the children watching the show, external audiences do not have to be considered. The register of Text C is extremely informal and conversational, possibly in order to engage the children's attention more. It's likely that this conversation style would lead to some audiences not using this text as a formal recipe to recreate, but to enjoy for entertainment. Discussing the modes of communication, due to Text C being a spoken clip, it mainly contains traits of a spoken text, such as it being extremely interactional and, as previously mentioned, informal.
Ramsay maintains his usual persona of a well-respected chef, but at the same time he interacts with the children in a friendly manner. He changes tones to keep it light-hearted, whilst he's still getting his intentions across. His presenting chef personality makes an appearance, possibly since this is broadcasted on TV across the UK and America for entertainment. His relationship with the viewing audience is distant, whereas he maintains a more believable and friendly connection with the group of children. He asks questions to the children and replies to their comments, demonstrating a more mentoring type of tone rather than a strict tone. However, the imperative sentence, "Look at that," on line 21 seems to be aimed at the children and the viewers. He therefore keeps everyone feeling involved and has not forgotten that he is also there to entertain. Ramsay uses first and second person personal pronouns to introduce a friendly tone which is enforced through the interactional conversation and use of interrogatives on lines 3 and 4. He uses words from the semantic field of cuisine. He adopts a student-teacher's style of communication between him and the children, which is demonstrated on line 1 and 3. Turn-taking and intonational changes are types of informal conversation features which he uses and are aspects of child language acquisition features. He therefore adopts a certain approach to accommodate his language to their ages. His expertise is reinforced in various ways. The evaluative adjectives on lines 1 and 23 portrays his belief that the audience values his opinion. In addition to this, the stranded subordinate clause on line 23 ends the demonstration on a great sense of achievement and re-emphasises his high skill and knowledge.
Similarities between the texts. Use of second-person personal pronouns across all three texts builds some level of relationship with the viewer or reader, further helping him in his career built on fame. Use of grammatical terms from the semantic field of cuisine. Ramsay has a symbiotic relationship with himself and his TV publishing career. This is due to the fact he is a famous TV chef. He therefore is expected by the audience to do more than just simply show them how to do something, but also entertain and provide his opinions. Ramsay uses precise instructions with all three of the texts, which benefit a cross-generational demographic with various levels of expertise.
Differences between the texts. Due to different audiences, Ramsay chooses different language styles to accommodate what he believes would best aid the audience. The mode of communication differs in the sense that text A is written and text B and C are spoken. The register, although all texts are written or spoken by the same person, the context, location and audience vary, which automatically demonstrates a difference across all three texts. In summary, Ramsay adopts a similar persona which can be seen across all three texts to some extent. However, the format and audience type differ, which accommodates for the difference in language choices that he appears to make. It can be clear to see through all the texts that he thrives off giving guidance. However, this is more limited in text A, so it could be said that this is down to the spoken mode of communication. Although Ramsay's audiences are usually adults, he is more than capable with adjusting his language choices to fit a younger audience. Thanks for listening to our presentation.
If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Bye!
Bye!